What if everything you've been told about China collapsing is just a comforting fantasy? While the West cheers on China's supposed downfall, Fareed Zakaria says we are missing the real story. In a raw, no-nonsense conversation with Andrew Schulz on the Flagrant podcast, Fareed breaks down how the world is actually shifting, and not in America's favor. From rare earth dominance and global tech strategy to AI replacing white-collar jobs, the broken asylum system, and why the middle class is stuck despite working harder than ever. This episode is packed with revelations. Here are 10 takeaways you do not want to miss. Takeaway 1. Why China is still rising. Most people in the West believe that China is failing. They think its economy is collapsing, its youth are unemployed, and its authoritarian model cannot last. But Fareed Zakaria makes it clear that this is a fantasy. He explains that while China does face problems, it has been playing a smarter and longer game than many realize. For example, China currently controls more than 60% of global rare earth processing, which is essential for electronics, electric vehicles, and military hardware. These materials are not rare in nature, but the refining process is toxic, expensive, and highly specialized. China stepped in where others hesitated and now holds the power to disrupt critical global supply chains. China also produces over 1.4 million engineering graduates each year, compared to around 200,000 in the United States. These engineers are fueling research, innovation, and advanced manufacturing, while American universities increasingly cut funding for hard sciences. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, China has signed agreements with over 140 countries and spent more than $1 trillion on infrastructure projects abroad. In Africa alone, it has financed over 10,000 kilometers of railways and highways, giving it long-term access to raw materials and diplomatic goodwill. Meanwhile, America remains distracted by cultural debates and short-term political fights. Fareed warns that the belief China is on the verge of collapse is not just wrong, it is dangerous. It blinds the West to the strategic moves China is making while quietly building the foundation for future dominance. Let us now look at what this means for the future of work. Takeaway 2. AI will crush safe careers. One of the most eye-opening moments is when Fareed talks about how artificial intelligence is already wiping out so-called safe careers. At Microsoft, around 30% of code is now written by AI. Salesforce is using it to handle customer service, and JP Morgan expects AI to handle 80% of its credit underwriting soon. These are not blue-collar jobs, but high-paying white-collar ones. Young lawyers who do legal discovery or investment bankers drafting reports are all being replaced. Even programmers are being hit. Fareed says computer science graduates currently have higher unemployment rates than art history majors. This sudden change means many white-collar professionals may become irrelevant faster than they ever expected. If jobs are disappearing this fast, the next big question is how people will survive. Takeaway 3. UBI might be unavoidable. The discussion around universal basic income, or UBI, becomes serious when the guests talk about how AI could eliminate most jobs. Fareed and the hosts agree that as machines take over everything from coding to customer service, there may simply not be enough work left for people to do. Andrew Yang was mocked years ago for proposing UBI, but now it seems more realistic than ever. Fareed argues that people need more than money. They need dignity and purpose. He prefers expanding earned income tax credits, which top up wages for those with low-paying jobs, rather than giving everyone free money. But the deeper fear is that if AI removes 80% of jobs, we may have no choice but to give people money just to survive, even if it does not make them happy or fulfilled. But even before AI arrived, the middle class was already struggling. We're about to dive into the most exciting part of this video. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up below and share this video in your WhatsApp groups. It really helps us keep making great content. Don't forget to leave a comment and hit subscribe for more. Now let's continue with the video. Takeaway 4. Middle class is stuck. Fareed points out that although unemployment is low and many Americans make decent money, a large part of the middle class feels trapped. People making between $90,000 and $120,000 a year do not feel wealthy because they are buried under student debt, rising health care costs, and housing prices. They are stuck in a phase of life that feels like extended adolescence, with little hope of buying a home or starting a family. The promise used to be that if you worked hard and got a degree, you could achieve stability. Now, many feel they did everything right and still cannot move forward. This frustration is not always about poverty, but about feeling lied to. Fareed emphasizes that when essential services like education, housing, and health care rise faster than wages, people start to lose faith in the system, even if they have jobs. And part of the reason for this frustration is that economic policies have often missed the mark. Takeaway 5. Why tariffs punish allies. In the early part of the conversation, Fareed Zakaria explains that the Trump tariffs ended up hurting America's closest allies more than its enemies. He points out that the countries who trade the most with the United States, like Canada, Mexico, and members of the European Union, are the ones who got slammed hardest by the tariffs. The irony is that these nations have spent decades aligning their economies closely with the United States. For example, car manufacturing in North America is fully integrated across borders, so parts cross back and forth multiple times before a car is complete. Every time a part crosses the border, it gets taxed again, making goods more expensive. This strategy, he says, undercuts one of America's biggest strengths, which is its global network of alliances. China has only a couple of military allies, while the United States has 59. Fareed says using tariffs against your own economic teammates is like punching yourself in the face and calling it strategy. But to understand why this matters, we need to understand the shift in the economy itself. Takeaway 6. Services dominate modern economies. The hosts and Fareed dive deep into why America has shifted from manufacturing to a services-based economy. In 1960, about half of American consumption was spent on goods. Now it is only around 25%. The rest is services like entertainment, dining, software, and healthcare. This shift is a normal pattern in wealthy countries because people stop buying more things and start spending more on experiences and services. Only around 4% of Americans now work directly on factory floors. Fareed says America surged ahead of other countries economically because it embraced technology and leaned into the service sector. For instance, while Germany still focuses heavily on manufacturing, the average American now earns about 30% more than the average German. He says Britain, if it were a U.S. state, would be poorer than Mississippi. So rather than trying to bring back outdated factory jobs, the country should double down on what it does best, which is services and innovation. Now that we have covered the economy and technology, let us move to power and foreign policy. Takeaway 7. Israel plays hardball. Later in the conversation, the podcast dives into foreign policy with a focus on Israel and the Middle East. Fareed explains that Israel acts with extreme military confidence because it knows the United States has its back. From bombing Iran to dominating Gaza, Israel operates with a level of impunity that no other country enjoys. The U.S. provides Israel with military, financial, and diplomatic cover, which allows it to act without fear of punishment. Fareed says this creates a difficult situation where one side, Israel, has overwhelming power and little incentive to negotiate. He also explains that Israel's technological dominance and intelligence capabilities are unmatched in the region, which adds to its confidence and aggression. While America supports its allies abroad, it often struggles to protect its citizens at home. We're about to hit the final takeaways from this video. If you're enjoying it, hit the thumbs up below and share this video in your WhatsApp groups. It really helps us keep making great content. Don't forget to leave a comment and hit subscribe for more. Now, let's continue with the video. Takeaway 8. Healthcare is rigged and complex. In the final portion, the discussion turns to healthcare and how broken the system truly is. Fareed says the entire healthcare industry profits from people being sick but not dying. The system is not built to promote prevention, but to manage illness for profit. In America, we get 3 times more MRIs than Germans, but do not have better health outcomes. Insurance companies act as gatekeepers who deny claims, make paperwork impossible, and delay care. Even people with insurance often cannot navigate the system. Fareed tells the story of one of the hosts who used an AI tool to help file claims faster than a human advocate could. He says AI might help make the system more transparent, but ultimately, what the country needs is a simple public option and fewer layers of bureaucracy that exist only to protect insurance company profits. But healthcare is not the only issue making Americans anxious. Immigration has also become a powerful force. Takeaway 9. Immigration is fueling backlash. When discussing right-wing populism, Fareed makes it clear that immigration has become the rocket fuel behind political rage in many countries. Whether it is America, France, or Sweden, the pattern is the same. Countries that once had low numbers of foreign-born citizens have seen massive increases in immigration, and that rapid change causes cultural friction. Sweden, for example, went from 2% to 22% foreign-born in just a few decades. Fareed says this overwhelms assimilation systems and fuels nationalist politics. The real issue, he says, is not race, but numbers and speed. When people feel their communities are changing too fast, they rebel. And that rebellion is showing up at the ballot box all over the world. And part of what drives that rebellion is the feeling that systems are being abused. Takeaway 10. Asylum system is broken. Fareed does not sugarcoat the failures of the current asylum system. He explains that people from poor regions, especially in Latin America, have figured out how to game the system. Instead of sneaking across the border, they now show up and claim asylum, which grants them a court date and the legal right to stay in the United States for years. The system, which was designed for rare and serious political persecution cases, is now flooded with economic migrants using the asylum route as a loophole. Fareed believes the whole system needs to be scrapped and rebuilt. He suggests people should be required to apply from their home countries and that the United States must set clear limits, or else the current chaos will continue. We began this video with a bold claim that China's collapse is just a Western fantasy. And as we saw from Fareed Zakaria's deep insights, it is not just China that is misunderstood. Whether we are talking about the silent failures of the middle class, the AI wave sweeping away stable careers, or the alliances that America is now damaging, the truth is often very different from the headlines. From immigration backlash to a healthcare maze that drains dignity, each of these 10 takeaways reveals how deep our global and national challenges go. But awareness is the first step to change. So, what do you believe needs to be reimagined first? Leave a comment, start a conversation, and do not forget to subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support this channel, hit the thanks button below. It really helps us keep going. If you enjoyed this summary, please leave a like and share it in your WhatsApp groups. To join discussion about this video, drop a comment below. And for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button below.